mama fucking hates you. What? I said your mama fucking hates you. What? Hey, your mama fucking hates you. I said she hates your guts. She wishes you were dead. She wishes that you died when you weren't even alive, bitch. She wishes you were dead. She wishes you were just some glucose in your daddy's dick. Cause your mama fucking hates you. 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 You a stupid bitch. And your mama fucking hates you. You a stupid bitch. What? Your mama fucking hates you. You a stupid bitch. And your mama fucking hates you. Your mama fucking hates you. Your mom fucking hates you. It occurs to me now that that whole bit could have been muted, or not. Like it couldn't. It might not have worked simply because I forgot that there's a whole track playing, so it might have been a little bit offbeat. Not. It wasn't meant to be on beat to that. It was meant to be on beat to me. Look, I'll tell you. It sounds like this. It goes like your mama fucking hates you. Dun-na. Your mama fucking hates you. Your mama fucking hates you. Dun-na. What? I said she fucking hates you. Your mama fucking hates you. Dun-na. She wishes you were dead because your mama fucking hates you. Dun-na. But your mama fucking hates you. Dun-na. It's only because you're in this Twitch chat. Your mama fucking hates you. Dun-na. 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 Your mama fucking hates you. Dun-na. And so did your daddy too. What? That's what it sounded like. Just wanted to preface that, put it out there. I'm so livid because it wasn't on beat. Even after I messed with it to try and make it on beat, it was not on beat, and that's all because I don't have headphones on. And I am beside myself on this one. I'd reckon it's probably about a decent time to get started. You haven't seen it, but right now I'm controlling my camera from my phone, which is a nice handy dandy invention we get in the modern times. And I'm trying to get this set up so that way when I'm ready to start filming, all I have to do is switch on the camera and then I'm good. You know how weird this is? Like, this is like if my wettest wet dream could be encapsulated in one video, this stream is that one video. Because I'm such a, like, as a narcissist, as a raving narcissist, do you know how nice it feels to see 1, 2, 3 versions of myself? I mean, you just don't get any better than that. As a raging narcissist, the peak of your ability is to be on as many screens as you can. And just by having 3 screens right here, I'm simply like becoming into God, because that's 3 times however many watch this over the course of forever. I'm telling you, it is hard being this amazing. The word I was looking for is amazing. Now, let's get into this. I kind of want to walk you guys through my editing process and kind of like what I do. So that way you guys can see, like, if you ever, from here on, if you ever see like a, what's it called? If you ever see me playing, or, you know, I think it's still kind of work. Look, if you ever see me like making one of these, or if you ever see this on the stream at any point, if you ever see like a mid-roll or like some sort of ad break of some sort, right? Just know that this process that I'm about to walk you through now is the process that I go through every time I want to do something. So I want to make it the best one. However, I only have 2 hours. By my calculations, if I really want to be extra good and make sure this one is an extra precedent, like if I'm taking this step forward, like I want to be, this one is going to have to set a bit of a standard, okay? Gold standard, we should say. I want to do this one special. So if I want to do it right, 2 hours should be just enough time to do everything from researching, filming, to, I don't mean everything, but everything in the first half. Researching, filming, and some light beginning editing. It's about 3 things or so. See, and the best part is I can hit record right now. I got about 20 minutes. I could record it in 4K, right? I bought enough space on this camcorder that I could record it in 4K, but I'm not going to, because it's excessive. I'll take my 15 minutes at 1080, okay? This won't take 20 minutes is what I'm getting at here. Like, this should be a pretty decent time where it won't take about 20. Now, I can record at any point, and now I've got myself an opening. But what I was saying is this is setting the gold standard. This should be, like, I should get everything done in about 2 hours. If I start at 6, I should be able to get, like, the beginning, bare bones, like, first round of editing done, all in 2 hours. From filming and researching. So I'm going to take you through my process. Honestly, we don't have to film yet, simply because, and the good thing is actually too, this is all recorded from me, so actually I can use this audio whenever now. You know how great this is? I just take the VOD, download it, and then I've got this audio, which is great for me, because now I have a blooper reel for this. You know how weird that is? Point is, I don't need to record that much anyway. Honestly, I can turn it off because I don't need that much. But I'm going to start by researching. And what I want to research today is a question that's actually been near the top of my list of like mid-roll questions that I have for quite a while. So it's how vortexes are made within water. I want to know how like vortexes get made. And it's interesting. Oh my god, that was hard to swallow. It's interesting because if you ever like look at a drain, like this came about, I think I was washing dishes. Like that was where it primarily stems from. I mean, I've always been fascinated with what makes water go on a swirly, where you can stick your finger down the middle and it be dry. But like if you do it on the outside, obviously it gets covered in water. Just the idea that you can stick your finger there and then nothing will happen to your finger and the vortex will go until it stops. Or I mean, sometimes isn't it when you do that it plugs it? Whatever. You know what I mean. That idea of you just stick your finger right in the middle and nothing will happen until you plug it up. That's always been fascinating to me. And I was washing dishes at work like a couple weeks back, and I was like, you know what? That is something I should look up. So now what I've been doing is anytime I come across an idea that I find like, you know, like a mundane fact of life that we all really take for granted, I want to do that and kind of make that like a mid-roll thing, you know? It started as something else at the beginning, and now I kind of wanted to shape it a certain way. So I like the mundane approach, because the mundane parts of life that we take for granted, like stop signs, or I mean not stop signs, but stop lights, you know, vortexes in water, raccoons' immune system, all these kind of things. We don't really, you know, they're just like they're facts of life, you know, and I want to question them, see what makes it work. I was thinking about doing something with the fire thing up there. I think you can actually see it. Maybe not. Maybe not. I was hoping you could, but I don't think you can. That's unfortunate. But this up here, the sprinkler system. I also want to know what makes that work. I think it has something to do with fire touching it, but I always wanted it. So that is what I want to do primarily right now. Is that a jumping thing? What is that? Jump for joy. It's like a freeze frame. Does my camera have freeze frame on it? It's wild. So anyway, I want to start with researching. Now, I put my chair back there. As you can actually tell a little bit, my chair is behind the green screen, so I can't actually sit down when I do this, which usually I don't need to. So now I'm going to go to the screen cap page, and I'm just going to do a little cut. So you're going to see how I edit and like how I research and what like the process is to get to that. So what if, hold on, I'm thinking of something. I'm thinking. You ever see Tom and Jerry and the Magic Ring? It's actually my favorite, and I mean by far my favorite animated Tom and Jerry film. I just want to put that out there. I thought it would be interesting for you to know that. So, anyway, here's that. So here's what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna show you what it looks like. This is way better than it just being me in a tiny corner. So here's the idea. I'm gonna show you what it looks like for me to research it. I'm gonna show you what's the process. This right here is a page on how water is made in vortexes. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to scroll up a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and look at the top. What's that say? Vortex. Whirling water creates a tornado in a bottle, right? Water forms a spiraling, funnel-shaped vortex as it drains from a 2-liter soda bottle. I thought there was more to that sentence. As it drains from a 2-liter soda bottle. A simple connector device allows the water to drain into a second bottle. The whole assembly can then be inverted, and the process repeated. Doesn't that sound very interesting? So you could theoretically set up your own little thing. Like you could set up your own, vortex. That's pretty cool, right? Like that sounds fun to me. Like I would do that as a science experiment, just as a general thing. Sounds like a good time. You know, I'm setting something up here. This might be a little bit overboard, but I think it might work. Yeah, it could work. Crush that down, and it does work. So we're gonna cut back here. I need to figure out where it is like that it looks decent so I can have both cams on and operating. Okay. Now, let me tell you, this is absolutely hell on my knees. Let me tell you right now, this is not a great feeling. But water forms a spiraling, funnel-shaped vortex as it drains down for 2-liter bottle, blah, blah, blah. Then repeated. Grade bands, 6 to 8, 9 to 12. Physics, mechanics, water pressure, gravity, exhibit-based. ESS, ESS2, PS1, PS2, PS3. Oh, so you can do them on the PS3 and you can do it on the PS Vita? That's actually pretty cool. I've never done science experiments on my PS3, but now I know. CCCs are patterns, cause and effect, scale, proportion, quantity, energy and matter, structure and function, stability and change. That's a very interesting set of them. I actually do like the sound of that. So, tools and materials. I don't know why I'm actually reading this like I'm going to conduct the science experiment. As fun as that would be to do on stream, let's put a pin in that. Okay, let's put a pin in that and add that to our bookmark so we know to come back to stream idea. Look at that. Don't steal my idea, or I will hunt you down, and I will give you all the hugs and kisses until you agree to give me my idea back. I'm serious. Don't play with me. Okay, so this is how you make it. We're gonna skip that so that way only I can do this. And the assembly to do a notice. All right, now let's read about what's going on, because that's what we're here for. This research is based solely on what we're about to find out in this. So, I don't think I need to be down here anymore. For the most part, I think I can read this standing up. That also means I can get rid of the old normal cam here. I'll just drag him off screen until we need him again. Okay, so, being that it's very simple, let's read what's going on. I guess I can come from this side and kind of read it. You know, I didn't think I'd still be in frame. Just pretend like you don't see my body there. Right? Seems simple enough. Okay, now, what's going on? It starts there. Okay, when the water is not rotating, surface tension creates a skin-like layer of water across a small hole in the center of the connector. This is explaining how the vortex is made in the bottle. Let me point here. If the top bottle is full, the water can push out a bulge in the surface to form a bulbous drop, which then drips into the lower bottle. As water enters, or as water drops into the lower bottle. I'm sorry, I didn't bring my literacy to the stream today. God, can I not speak either? I didn't bring verbal communication. Okay, so In the top bottle, it's about here. In the top bottle is full, blah, blah, blah. Lower bottle, the pressure in the lower bottle builds up until air bubbles are forced into the upper bottle. The pressure that the water exerts on the surface in the connector decreases as the water level in the upper bottle drops. When the water level and pressure drop low enough, the water's surface can hold back the water and stop the flow completely. Interesting. That's even cooler than what I was talking about as like a vortex in the bottle. That's like way doper than what I was talking about. Honestly, and hear me out on this one. Hear me out. I'm gonna turn off the camera so it doesn't die while we're waiting for it to, or waiting to actually finish up research. So where was I at? It was like here. That's actually interesting. Now that makes me want to not only do one on stream, like make one of these on stream, but also make one for this video. You know, just so I can have an example demonstration to do. So that means I might not, this might not be a video that you see the end to or see live on stream until like, could be a week's time from now. I don't think it'll take that long. Honestly, it's just 2 soda bottles, water in between, tube in the middle. Doesn't seem all that difficult. I think I can have that done in a pretty short amount of time. So honestly, I'd say look forward to that, because that might be in the video and we might actually build that live on stream. So it might not be tonight, even though now it kind of makes me want to do it tonight. Now I kind of want to build it, but I won't. I'm on a time limit, okay? I'm on a time limit, so I'm just gonna let it do its thing. We're gonna go back to reading. So that is cool. Let's put a pin in that idea. We might actually use that. Okay, stops the flow completely. It's if you spin the bottle. I think that's right there. Okay. If you spin the bottles around a few times, the water in the upper bottle starts rotating. As the water drains into the lower bottle, a vortex forms. The water is pulled down and forced toward the drain hole. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I took a little sudden drop there to read that in my mind. That was a whole thing. I was thinking, because I think the top was just explaining how drains work. I think the top was just explaining the basic fundamentals of a drain system, of how water leaves a surface, and then, I think that's what's going on, is the general gist of a drain. Because now on the second paragraph that I've got my finger on here, this is explaining about how if you spin the bottle like that, a vortex will form while it's draining down. I think what that is, because I think that this, obviously, since the water bottles are stuck together, there is a what's the word? It's like a vacuum chamber almost, right? Because all the air that's in there is trapped in there, and it's not going anywhere because it's closed. It's a closed system with no new oxygen or air coming in around. So in theory, if you close it, you could spin, that's how it drains back and forth. So instead of there being air and stuff to push it down, wait, no, that's not how that works. Shut up, I don't know science. I'm not a scientist, okay? I was not born and raised to do science stuff. I just want to explain how cool this is, okay? Because it is cool. Reading it out sounds cool. So if you spin the bottles around a few times, the water in the upper bottle starts rotating. It makes a vortex. If we ignore the small friction force, hold on. The water is pulled down and forced toward the drain hole in the center by gravity. If we ignore the small friction forces, the angular momentum of the water stays the same as it moves inward. That means the speed of the water around the center increases as it approaches the center of the bottle. This is the same reason that the speed of rotating ice skaters increases when they pull in their arms. Now that is neat. So you're telling me ice skaters, they go you know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. Like, I can see why the logic on that makes sense. Pulling in your arms, way faster. Okay. So now we're on this little blurb right here. To make water move in a circle, forces called centripetal forces. I heard that once. Tony Hawk said it. And in an Epic Rap Battles of History video, he said that once. Centripetal force must act on the water. These center pulling forces, I guess that makes so much more sense. Centripetal is like center. I could see that. If that's what that is, I could see that. If not, then I'm just an idiot who says to everything. These center pulling forces are created by a combination of air pressure, water pressure, and gravity. Interesting. You can tell where the centripetal forces are You can tell where the centripetal forces are greater by looking at the slope of the water. Where the water is steeper, such as the bottom of the vortex, so we're down here on this last blurb right here. That last blurb. Where the water is steeper, bottom of the vortex, the centripetal force on the water is greater. Water moving with higher speeds and in curves of smaller radius requires larger forces. The water at the bottom of the vortex is doing just this, and so the wall of the vortex is the steepest at the bottom. Think about race cars. Racetracks, have steeper banks on high-speed, sharp corners to hold the cars in their circular pattern around the track. That makes sense, I think. Gravity or something, I imagine, or other. The hole in the vortex allows air from the lower bottle to flow easily into the upper bottle. This enables the upper bottle to drain smoothly and completely. Going further. Okay, so now we're going to actually learn about vortexes. Okay, now this is like where we learn about how, like, real life vortexes, not vortexes in a vacuum that we made by doing science in bottles. This is like, we're about to learn real life vortexes, because I have another page pulled up. This is not the only page. I actually have a second page, which you cannot see, but I have a second page, this one, about actual vortexes in nature. So not only are we going to learn how vortexes form in a small scale, but we're also going to explain how they form in a large scale. The small scale being something like your drain, a la what we just learned. The big scale, this stuff like tornadoes and hurricanes. Yeah. Tornadoes, hurricanes, things, vortexes. So we take it a step further from just water to water and wind. Way cooler. That way we can kind of actually learn something. Because if you've noticed, my last couple one of these, which, I'll be honest, I have every single one saved on my computer. So if we ever want to watch them again, we can, since I forgot to clip all of them. And I mean every single one back when I was actually streaming. There's not a single clip of me doing mid-rolls that is currently active and present on the channel. So, I'm gonna make sure that I guess I can upload these as smalls. You know, it's something. I could cut together a channel trailer based on those mid-rolls and my real streams, you know? I mean, that's way cooler if I do that. You know, it's way cooler than if I just, you know, upload them. Anyway, point is, I'm gonna make sure that I clip this one, or at least save it or something, so that way we can learn something. That's all it is. Because before, we didn't really learn much. They were mostly on the fly, unscripted, kind of just spur of the moment. What I thought about, I put out, because I did them like the same day as the stream. So I never actually was able to put the love and attention that they needed into them. So me personally, I like them. I think they're funny sometimes, but they weren't good because they were just so scrappy. I guess that's kind of what gave them credit. But now that I have so much that I'm building on, like now that I have more than such a scrappy setup, I have a little bit more class to my setup. I don't see the reason why I shouldn't also improve the quality of the videos instead of just the quality of the equipment. You see what I'm saying? Then if I don't do that, then I'm taking the Keemstar approach. You know what I mean? Where nothing gets upgraded and it's just horrible all the time. You know, I want to personally see the fruits of my labor through a better means to see with. Does that make me materialistic? Probably. You know, is anything wrong with that? No. I'll just die with my gold then, idiot. Yeah, you be spiritual all you want. Bury weed with 24 carats of ice, baby, in my casket. Throw them watches on me. I'll take them. Take them right to the grave. I'm gonna be Chiron with gold hanging out my teeth. Best believe. Now, continuing on, we're gonna learn about big time vortices. Plural of vortex. That's what it is, okay? Vortices occur in nature in many forms: tornadoes, whirlpools, weather systems, and even galaxies, which is way cooler. If we're looking at, we're definitely including galaxies in the video. I know it has nothing to do with water, but holy poopalola. If we can learn how they make a vortex in space, I will shit my pants. I don't mean that in a zazz. So, the essence of a vortex is that objects are drawn together towards the center, then miss. Spiral waves form in the water of the vortex. These waves appear to move in slow motion as they travel upward through the downward flowing river. What the what? What the what? We defying gravity out here? We defying gravity out here? What? So the waves are like the water going, and the waves are going It's like opposite of what is happening. That's crazy. Okay. That's really good. Let's see. So, downward flowing water. This science snack is part of a collection that highlights black artists, scientists, inventors, and thinkers whose work aids or expands our understanding of the phenomena explored in the snack. Image, credit, John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, user permission. Okay, I think I might have gone a little too far. I don't think I was supposed to read that science blurb, that last one, though I do appreciate it. It's a good bit of information. I didn't know that. I didn't even know who created this at all, but now I know that it's a part of a collection. That's good to know. I actually was unaware of the fact. I kind of just was on here to learn about science, but I do like that. Mr. John, theoretical engineer. I'm assuming this is the guy that made it. Mr. John DeBerry, that right there, that's a mad scientist. My filing cabinet is not. Shouts out to him. That's a shot caller right there. Researcher and theoretical engineer, researching the propulsion of jellyfishes and the forces of vortices and fluid among other things have led. That's what I'm talking about. Give it up. Let's actually give a round of applause to Mr. John DeBerry for his research. That guy right there. I'm sorry. This guy right here. This guy right here. That's my dad. Among other things, led to new models of energy production and wind farms and understanding of blood flow in human hearts. So he's been helping with human heart research too. Yeah, all right. That's a pretty cool guy if you ask me. The MacArthur Fellowship winner became a tenured professor at Caltech at the age of 29. In this science snack, you can witness the beauty and complexity of a fluid vortex at 29? Huh? This man was 30 years old and a tenured professor. Alright, well, I guess that's... Alright, buddy. Alright, you ain't gotta flex so hard. Okay. I didn't ask you for all that. Alright, so that's good to know. So now we know how vortexes are created in a smaller setting. So now we're going to take that information and we're going to use it there. We're going to write a little bit of a script, but really not really. If anything, I'll use notes just to have like a points, to talk on. But there's no, like, for these, I still don't script them. For the better or worse, but that's the power of editing, is I can film 20 minutes of me messing up and still have a video. See what I'm saying? So as long as I hit some key points, I can cut it together. I don't want to do that because that just feels disingenuous, and I do want to mostly have takes and have a script to have it scripted out on. But we'll see if it comes down to that. Because if it does come down to that, we might not even get to the editing part of the things today. If I'm researching and scripting tonight, then it will be a little bit longer. It won't be a little bit longer. It just won't be. We won't get to the editing part tonight, so you really will have to just like wait and see, which adds to the element of it, and it's kind of fun. But okay, so this one is How a Vortex Forms. It's written by Brenda Kelly Kim. I forgot to read the last one and who that was written by. Shame on me. Just kidding. There was no written by started, so I was actually okay, and I'm not a horrible person. Brenda Kelly Kim. A vortex is a physics phenomenon that where the gas or liquid moves in circles. At the center is a vortex line where the matter swirls around. They are formed when there is a difference in the velocity of what surrounds the line. Hurricanes, tornadoes, and air moving over a plane wing are examples of vortices. We're right here. I'll highlight it. In this video, a plate is moved through the still water of a pool, creating twin vortices that stay together as they move across the pool. How do they do that? So what's this video? Okay. Let's give this a little listen.
Check this out. I'm just gonna drag this plate through the water in the pool. That's it. But look what forms. perfect
Yeah.
black circles on the bottom of the pool. And it's so weird, they don't die. They just keep going right next to each other. I sped this footage up because the circles took 3 minutes to cross the pool and didn't seem to be dying out. These got sharper as they went and made it all the way across.
So cool. And look closer, you can see what's causing them. There are two almost unnoticeable dips in the surface of the water. Why don't they die out? And how do these dark spots form? And why do the dips move together? So many questions. Let's first look at what they are. When I drag the plate through the water, you could see it forming little vortices like you get.
Phone. Hold the flippin' heckin' phone. This lady's spitting facts right now. I can't miss these facts. Hold the flippin' phone. Hold the heckin' freaking phone. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You crazy lady. Teaching me science and stuff. I didn't ask you for that. What are you doing? What do you mean by that? Black spots.
Get when you move a paddle through the water. A vortex is a gas or liquid moving in circles with what we call a vortex line going up through the circles. They are everywhere. Tornadoes, water flowing down the drain, hurricanes, or the movement of air over an airplane wing. Vortices often form when there's a difference in fluid speed, like fast wind moving over slow wind. As you move the plate forward, the water right next to the boundary moves with the plate because of friction. The water further out is not moving. It's that difference in velocity that causes a shear force and starts the water spinning. This is accentuated by the water in front of the plate being forced around the sides and the water behind the plate being sucked forward as the plate moves along. In this coherent vortex, our dips can travel much further across the pool than a ripple without dissipating. Why?
Okay. So if you didn't get it, I think I might have understood it a little bit to some degree. Now what I think is going on is it's kind of, okay, she's saying opposite forces, right? Opposite forces are pushing past each other and it makes a sort of spin because there's stuff that, I guess it's, something gets trapped in the middle and it spins. So it spins it around because they're now traveling at different directions. One's going this way, one's going this way. Stuff in the middle is being forced to spin around because it's like a wheel, how a wheel rotates. It's going around because the ground below it is going one way and the ground above it is going another way. Yeah. Something like that. I think it's the basic gist. You know, we get it. We're smart around here. We're scientists.
The vortex wants to keep its angular momentum, so it continues spinning as it moves through the water and
See, like a wheel. Okay, so I'm not crazy.
only
It's not the
loses
same
some
thing.
energy through friction to the surrounding stationary water. So what we appear to have here is two vortices moving across the pool, but it seems
Oh, wait. No, oh, right. So nothing, the only thing that moves is the actual vortices themselves. Got
weird
it.
that they stay right together. Well, when we create this vortex, we're forcing water to move around the whole plate, not just on the surface of the water. Our vortex line is curved. We're creating a half vortex ring. You know, like a smoke ring, bubble ring, or even the plume rising up from an explosion, but half of that. These two dips on the water's surface are just the ends of the half ring. They're connected, and that's why they stay together. We can see this if we put a little food coloring into the ends.
The food coloring travels from one end to the other and you can see the entire half ring.
So cool. We just made a bubble ring without the bubble. This also tells you something interesting. The half ring is not a wave. A wave is a disturbance moving through a medium that transfers energy but doesn't transfer matter. When we added food coloring, we saw clearly that the vortex is transferring matter just like a smoke ring does. So sadly, it's not a wave. It's cooler than a wave. Now back to this
It's
half
true,
ring
it is
vortex.
a lot cooler than a wave.
Isn't it weird? You've probably never seen half of a smoke ring before. Why? Well, according to Helmholtz law, a vortex line cannot start or end in a fluid. So a vortex line either wants to close into a loop or end at a boundary. If you tried to cut a smoke ring in half, it would either break up or even cooler, it would break up into two smaller smoke rings.
I don't know if that happens. It would be awesome.
Since the line can't end in the fluid, it ends at the surface. You almost never see these half vortices though because they have to occur on the boundary of two media. If you can think of another way to make the entire half ring visible, like a smoke ring or a bubble ring, let me know. So now why does our vortex create those cool dark spots?
Well, the balance between gravity, centripetal forces, and surface tension creates a funnel shape which acts like a lens.
Lenses often work by focusing light to a point, like this Fresnel lens, which can melt pennies in the sun, but I digress. Our vortex lenses focus the sunlight away from the center, like so, and you have a bright ring surrounding a dark circle. The ring highlights the dark circle further, and you get these incredibly clear black spots. So cool. Now I highly recommend trying this at home, especially if it's too cold to swim in the pool. Here are some tips. The water has to be very still. Even a small breeze makes it harder to create these. The sun has to be out or it won't work. And you can try some other really cool things. Send your vortices at a wall. You'll see the dark spots spread out. Or try colliding two of them. Happy physicsing!
Okay, so we learned from that video is vortexes are cool as frickin' heck. Okay, so it is essentially, in essence, it is a bit of air or water, any sort of fluid that gets caught in the middle of something, and then, yeah, that's it. It's just a fluid or air that gets caught in the middle of stationary something, and it just travels along. In the case of the plate, it was a plate dipped down into the water, pushed forward, so air was allowed to get in, and then because of that, it went around the sides, and then it created a little pocket, so it got pushed back because of the plate, but it also got pushed forward because of the back of the plate, where there was nothing but a vacuum as something was trying to get in there, right? Because I mean, that's what happened, right? I'm not crazy. Like, that's how it was broken down, right? Like, the plate went forward, and then water was coming down the sides of it because it was pushing forward and breaking them over the side, and then there was the little vacuum from behind where there's not anything yet, so something has to go down there, and that's the water. The water itself is going to go down back in there after the air, so the air goes through into a little pocket, and then because of the fact that there's two separate waves, they go and they create two separate vortexes, or two little circles in the vortex, and then the air travels through that. Right? I don't know. Point is, that's what I'm going to say on here. And if it's wrong, well, I looked at 2 whole science websites to find this out. The answer was generally the same, so seems alright. Seems like I'm not really hurting anything, right? I would hope. Anyway, I don't think I'm hurting anything. Okay. Oh, now I gotta move this down. Or I gotta move myself down. That was a pretty good video, though. I like that. I like that video a lot. It was nice. I'm gonna go back to the beginning, though, just to get a refresher about the actual, like, the process of it.
To be dying out. These got sharper as they went, and
and the actual thing is the light going in. I don't think I'll need the second part about the spots.
And look closer. You can see what's causing them. There are 2 almost unnoticeable dips in the surface of the water. Why don't they die out? And how do these dark spots form? And why do the dips move together? So many questions. Let's first look at what they are. When I drag the plate through the water, you could see it forming little vortices like you get when you move a paddle through the water. A vortex is a gas or liquid moving in circles with what we call a vortex line. When I drag the plate through the water, you could see it forming little vortices like you get when you move a paddle through the water. A vortex is a gas or liquid moving in circles with what we call a vortex line going up through the circles. They are everywhere. Tornadoes, water flowing down the drain, hurricanes, or the movement of air over an airplane wing. Vortices often form when there's a difference in fluid speed, like fast wind moving over slow wind. As you move the plate forward, the water right next to the boundary moves with the plate because of friction. The water further out is not moving. It's that difference in velocity that causes a shear force and starts the water spinning. This is accentuated by the water in front of the plate being forced around the sides, and the water behind the plate being sucked forward as the plate moves along. In this coherent vortex, our dips can travel much further across the
because the second one gets created.
Than a ripple without dissipating. Why? The vortex wants to keep its angular momentum, so it continues spinning as it moves through the water and only loses some energy through friction to the surrounding stationary water. So what we appear to have here is 2 vortices moving across the pool, but it seems weird that they stay right together.
Because it's a connected one, and that is where the vortex line is in, because there can't be a vortex line of just whatever fluid it was before, whether it's air or water. There has to be another one intersecting in it. That's what she said.
Well, when we create this vortex, we're forcing water to move around the whole plate, not just on the surface of the water. Our vortex line is curved. We're creating a half vortex ring. You know, like a smoke ring, bubble ring, or even the plume rising up from an explosion. But half of that. These 2 dips on the water's surface are just the ends of the half ring. They're connected, and that's why they stay together. We can see this if we put a little food coloring into the ends.
Yeah, see, it has to be the air, because in order to form it, it has to be a circle. So that means there's another air pocket. You just can't see the air because the air is invisible. So, or not invisible, but you just can't see it. So that's why, because the air is probably moving. So I'm assuming if you were able to get in that and like move your hand in it, I'm sure you'd feel the air hitting your hand, because it would have to. It says that it has to be a perfect thing, or else it wouldn't be a vortex. It would just be broken.
The food coloring travels from one end to the other, and you can see the entire half ring.
So cool. We just made a bubble ring without the bubble. This also tells you something interesting. The half ring is not a wave. A wave is a disturbance moving through a medium that transfers energy but doesn't transfer matter. When we added food coloring, we saw clearly that the vortex is transferring matter just like a smoke ring does. So sadly, it's not a wave. It's cooler than a wave. Now back to this half ring vortex. Isn't it weird? You've probably never seen half of a smoke ring before. Why? Well, according to Helmholtz law, a vortex line cannot start or end in a fluid. So a vortex line either wants to close into a loop or end at a boundary. If you tried to cut a smoke ring in half, it would either break up or even...
So it has to start or end at a fluid. No, it can't start or end at a fluid.
Close into a loop or... Now back to this half ring vortex. Isn't it weird? You've probably never seen half of a smoke ring before. Why? Well, according to Helmholtz law, a vortex line cannot start or end in a fluid. So
okay, so it can't be... Okay, right. And air is not a fluid. Air is air. So the fluid can't be the start or the ending of it. So those two little tips, they cannot be fluid. They have to be something else, like air. So in theory, or at least I guess by what it's saying, if I'm understanding it correctly, which I could very well not be, it's the thing is closed, so the fluids are closed on each other, and then there's air starting it. It's going around and around, or something. I don't know. Well, it also says text down at the bottom, so I could just be reading it wrong. There is no text down at the bottom.
Well, according to Helmholtz law, a vortex line cannot start or end in a fluid. So a vortex line...
Okay. Helmholtz law isn't exactly applicable here because the water has some viscosity, but we see some of these basic properties in water vortices. Okay. Well, that's a little above my pay grade, but I don't think I'm going to have to talk about this. I think what I really need from this video is the first part about vortex lines and how they form.
Using water to move around.
That's the only thing I need to know about on this particular part. There's a vortex line sucking it down. Okay, cool. I don't need to know about the rings, because the ring is not as prevalent to what we're talking about, which is drains and hurricanes, tornadoes, that like stuff. Okay. A vortex is a physics phenomenon that occurs when a gas or liquid, blah, blah, blah. The trick is that the plate is round, as opposed to a canoe paddle or cold and warm air crossing and creating a tornado. Okay. As opposed to a canoe paddle or cold and warm air crossing and creating a tornado, the rounded bottom of the plate creates a semicircular vortex line instead of a straight line, right? That makes sense. So the plate itself is what creates the ring part of it. Okay, makes sense. Straight line. It's this curved line that connects the two vortices formed on either side of the plate and keeps them moving together. The half-ring vortex line is a unique event in physics, and adding the food coloring shows that it's capable of moving matter. Okay, cool. That's what we discovered in the video. Very cool. Love the science. Really loving the science here. Very nice. So we're going to keep this video up because we still need to know it. We're going to take a little peek over here and see what they're offering me. See what the kind of business we got here, what kind of tricky business we got going on right now. And then we're going to snap back and pretend like we didn't see that. Scrub your eyes out with bleach, boys. That didn't happen. Yeah, so now we should be good. I'm going to drag myself off screen again. And ow! I don't want to talk about it. I hurt myself. We can take these off, too. Don't need the cans any longer. The badongers. Okay, so that was an interesting bit of learning. So now we know how vortexes are created. The vortexes are created because there's a disturbance. All right, I forgot again. One more time, baby. I learned more from reading. All right, because I can go back and reread it, but this I gotta keep watching.
And look closer. The water. A vortex is a gas or liquid moving in circles with what we call a vortex line going up through the circles. They are everywhere.
Gas or liquid, that's the water. Water going in a circle. Vortex line is the air in the drain. Makes sense. Got it.
Water flowing down the drain, hurricanes, or the movement of air over an airplane wing. Vortices often form when there's a difference in fluid speed, like fast wind moving over.
Right, and that's how it creates. Fast wind moving over slow wind, it creates a bit of a difference, and that's how it happens. And there's something down the middle That's the vortex line. Now, how does the vortex line get created?
Or slow wind. As you move the plate forward, the water right next to the boundary moves with the plate because of friction. The water further out is not moving. It's that difference in velocity that causes a shear force and starts the water spinning. This is accentuated by the water in front of the plate being forced around the sides and the water behind the plate being sucked forward as the plate moves along. In this coherent vortex, our dips can travel much further across the pool than a ripple without dissipating. Why? The vortex wants to keep its angular momentum, so it continues spinning as it moves through the water and only loses some energy through friction to the surrounding stationary water. So what we appear to have here is two vortices moving across the pool, but it seems weird that they stay right.
So the vortex line has to be some other thing like air in between it, right? Okay, let's look that up because we're gonna have to explain what a vortex line is anyway. So, vortex line. What is a vortex line made of? All right, that's not what I searched up at all. Vortex line. All right, vortex line made of. Okay. Okay, or Organ Vortex. All right, well, I guess this is going to lead us to where we need to go. If you can't see it, but the Organ Vortex. This is, I guess, something. It has something to do with how vortex lines are created. So clearly, this must be some real information that we need to see. It said something about a tourist attraction, but I think this is science. I don't think there's any touristy stuff going on. I think this is pure, unadulterated science. Let's see what this is. Oh, look, Wikipedia's asking for my help. It's asking for my monetary value, my gain. Okay, this article is about the location of the U.S. state of Oregon for 1970 rock music festival. See Vortex 1. The Organ Vortex is a roadside attraction that opened to tourists in 1930. Okay, see, I think we're slowly understanding how the line is created in a vortex of water. This is going to help us figure that out. Calling it now. We just got to get through a little bit before we get to the good, juicy science. So, located in Sardine Creek in Gold Hill, Oregon in the United States. Filming. I forgot to do I forgot to add this. So, it consists of a number of interesting effects, which are gravity hill optical illusions, but which the attraction's proprietors propose are a result of paranormal activities in the properties in the area. Okay. Native Americans, Forbidden Land, blah, 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 blah. Blah. I'm not seeing anything about... Oh, hold on. Vortex 19 X-Files. Okay. Odd angles, rolling uphill, Montana Vortex. Cool. Okay, well. Oh, Gravity Hill. Okay. Okay. A gravity hill, also known as a magnetic hill, mystery hill, mystery spot, gravity road, or anti-gravity hill, is a place where the layout of the surrounding land produces an optical illusion, making a slight downhill slope appear to be an uphill slope. Thus, a car left out of gear will appear to be rolling uphill against gravity. There are hundreds of recognized gravity hills around the world. Okay. The slope of gravity hills is an optical illusion, although sites are often accompanied by the claims that the magnetic or supernatural forces at work. The most important factor contributing to the illusion is a completely or mostly obstructed horizon, right? Without a horizon, it becomes difficult to judge the slope of a surface as a reliable reference is missing. That makes sense. Objects which one would normally assume to be more or less perpendicular to the ground, such as trees, may actually be leaning, offsetting the visual reference. Okay. Alright. Falls flat. The opposite phenomenon, an uphill road that appears flat, is known in bicycle racing as a false flat. That would be scary to think that, oh yeah, I'm just going to go on a flat and then boom, 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 boom. I'm really pedaling right now. You know what I mean? Okay, so yes, Gravity Hill. It appears to be going uphill. I can see how that looks like it's going uphill. because I see that now. There is no horizon because there are trees blocking the horizon. So the horizon is skewed. That makes sense. Okay, that's cool. Well, gravity. Got it. So this is a torus spot. And that's all it does. That's it. Just optical illusions that happen everywhere. Alright, Oregon. Go off, I guess. It's not like half the other planet doesn't have something like this. Alright, go off. Whatever. It doesn't seem like it's going to help me find out, vortex lines, though. So we're going to... Oh, because it tried to... I didn't even notice that it wasn't even searching it correctly. Thanks, guys. Alright, well now we're back on Wikipedia anyway. Somehow this happened again. Alright, in fluid dynamics, plural vortices, vortexes, a region in fluid which the flow revolves around an axis line which may be straight or curved. Vortices formed in stirred fluids may be observed in smoke rings, whirlpools in the wake of a boat, and the winds surrounding a tropical cyclone, tornado, or dust devil. See, what makes sense to me, and the part that I'm really, what I know, and what makes most sense to me, that makes sense. So if you stick your finger in water and you spin it around, I can see how the idea of like the immediate water around your finger turning and spinning with your finger because your finger is pushing it, and then the area, like the water around your finger, like, this is the immediate, this is the water outside immediate. You're making this circle. This water is still untouched. Nothing's breaking this, but this water is. Hence why it continues to spin. The only reason why the plate in the water spun is because she was pushing it forward and it was allowed to keep going because it was a circle that created two separate vortices, so they kept going forward. That's why hers did it, because it was in water and it was actually being pushed forward, and that's what was creating it behind it because it had that vacuum between it. But if you do just water, finger in water, and do that, it's not going to move anywhere because you're not pushing it. You're just spinning your finger and making the vortex. You're just starting the vortex. And that's why drains don't move, because it's being sucked out of one spot. Got it. And of course the water is standing, so it's spinning around here, and then that just happens to be, so when it's coming out of a drain, see, I'm starting to get it now. The watching the video 3 times, reading 2 articles, it has really boosted my brain, and now I can finally understand it from a phenomenon level. Let me explain. Okay. So, you have a drain. I don't need these cans anymore. You have a drain, okay? You have a drain sitting right here, and it's pulling water down, so much so that a vortex forms. I'm going to figure out how it forms gravity-wise in a second. We're not doing that just yet. Let's say we started up with our fingers, which I used to do as a kid. I would take the drain, and I would go, and then it would start it, and it would start vortexing down, but you have to match it. You have to know which way the water is going. Anyway, point is, so it starts pulling, okay? And when it's a lot of water, okay, it's pulling a lot of water down. And it's that one spot that's just spinning because it's pulling down, okay? One spot's spinning. The rest of it's still. But as it spins, because it's a hole that's draining the water, it's pulling that water with it. So the water that's around it is stationary until it gets pulled in, when now it's going to start to turn and it's going to go down. It's just pulling a lot of water, which is why it creates the vortex. It's just pulling a lot of water at once. If you have a slow drain, it doesn't do a vortex. It's just a slow drain. But if you have a quick drain, if you have a drain that's unclogged, it just goes. Really cool science stuff. We got it figured out. Okay. Is a region in fluid in which the water, blah, 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 is straight or curved. Vortices, some fluids, smoke rings, whirlpools, the wake of a boat, and the winds surrounding a tropical cyclone, tornado, or dust devil. Yep. Vortices are a major component of turbulent flow. In fluid dynamics, turbulence or turbulent flow is fluid motion characterized by chaotic changes in pressure and flow velocity. Remember, something else had mentioned pressure before. The other article had mentioned low and high pressure. That's why the vortex forms in the water bottle thing is because the change in like from one thing to another thing is pressure. That's why that one does it. Because instead of it being like a finger or something, it's the pressure of, I don't know, the distribution of velocity, vorticity, quote in brackets here, not brackets, but whatever those are called, I forget. And I'm supposed to be a writer guy, author who, I don't know. The curl of the flow velocity, as well as the concept of circulation, are used to characterize vortices. Okay. In most vortices, the fluid velocity is greater next to its axis and decreases in inverse proportion to the distance from the axis. Okay, let's read that one more time. It's a little bit complicated. A lot of big words. Gotta read a couple more times to break it down. It's like reading Charles. It's like, what's his name again? I don't even remember this guy's name. It's like reading not Charles Darwin, but the guy that makes Richard Dawkins. It's like reading a Richard Dawkins book, okay? We gotta read it about 4 times to really understand what this man is saying. Or woman, I don't know who wrote this. This is a Wikipedia article. It could have been anyone. Okay, I thought I was muted for a second. You know how scared I was? Oh my God, the fear of God was in me in that one. Holy Jesus, Jeebus. Okay, we should have our own just cam. There we go. Okay. So, in most vortices, the fluid flow velocity, the flow of fluids velocity, the velocity of the flowing fluid, I think we got it, is greatest next to its axis and decreases in inverse proportion to the distance from the axis. Okay, so the speed of the actual vortex is faster towards the middle, okay, towards the axis of it, that's the middle, right? That would be the vortex line. I'm not crazy, right? That's the vortex line. Okay, it's fastest in the middle, and then it decreases in speed when it goes out because that's where the friction is, right? Because the friction is what slows it down as it bumps against the stationary water to make the water form, right? The water's stationary. It bumps into it. It loses its speed because there's friction where the water is not moving and the water in is moving. Got it. We broke that down. Science. In the absence of external forces, viscous friction, okay, the viscosity of a fluid is a measure of its resistance to deformation at a given rate. For liquids, it corresponds to the informal concept of thickness. For example, syrup has a higher viscosity than water. Yes, okay. Viscous friction within the fluid tends to organize the flow into a collection of irrotational vortices, possibly superimposed to larger scale flows, including larger scale vortices. Once formed, vortices can move, stretch, twist, and interact in complex ways. A moving vortex carries some angular and linear momentum, energy, and mass with it. Hence why it's not a wave, because it's carrying matter too. That's why tornadoes aren't considered waves of air. They actually move forward and they disrupt the land within and completely upend it. They transfer matter. So if something gets scooped up in a tornado, it's going to stick with that tornado until it's thrown out of wherever the end is. So, wait, that makes tornadoes inverse vortexes to a drain because the tiniest part of the, wait, no. So, okay, yes, so it's sucking in, no. Because it travels up, yeah, okay, like a drain. Okay, remember, we read that in the drain. I'm trying to really beat this into my head. So, like a drain, we learn this. Okay, we're gonna switch back for just a second, so because I really want you to know the thought process. Okay, so like a drain, okay, it's going down. The air is going down. It's touching the ground, and right to the end, because that's where it's being sucked down to. Okay, the air is, and then it hits the ground, and then from there, now the spiral formation is the actual air traveling back up. That's the wave. See, there is a wave within a vortex, but it is not a wave in and of itself. Got it. Okay, so it touches the ground. I didn't realize this was going to be a science stream, but in order for me to film a video about it, I have to actually know it, at least. I have to be able to know and understand it to a point where I can actually explain it in a way that is funny. So if I don't know what I'm talking about, if I can't explain it to myself seriously, then how am I going to explain it funny, if that makes sense? How am I going to explain a video or a complex, I guess it's not complicated, but a complex idea like a vortex in a way that's actually funny? So I need to understand it for myself before I can really make that distinction. That's what we're doing right now. I didn't realize it would be so much learning, but you know, I can dumb it back down. See, the good part about learning something is like learning something on such a stupid amount and researching every part of it is now I know how to take it from its complicated form and dumb it back down to a stupid form for myself. So if I can do that for myself, I should be able to do that on a video, no problem. I should be able to take this ugly mug, dumb it down to this beautiful body. You see what I'm saying? It makes sense. Okay? It makes sense. It's nice when you cover yourself and give yourself extra hair. I gotta do a fro that, you know, you just never see these days. Okay. Once formed, and momentum and mass related properties. This isn't a paywall. We'll cut to the chase. The researchers don't give. They simply look away. All we ask is for $2.75 this Tuesday. How long have they been asking for money? I feel like 98% of people don't give Wikipedia money because they've been asking for money since I was a freshman in high school. That was 6 years ago now. I was a freshman. I graduated in 2019. That was 2 years. About to be 3. That was 2 years ago, about to be a third year. And I started school 4 years before that, which would have been 2015? 2014. Something. 2014, 2015. That is like, it's been like 8 years, okay? What I'm saying is it's been a long time. It's been like 8 years since Wikipedia started saying, hey, we need money, guys. We're running out of money. Please, can you give us money? How have you survived for 8 years if you have been running out of money so often? This is the third time we've interrupted your reading recently. 98% of our readers think they'll give later, but they forget. This Tuesday we ask you to protect Wikipedia. Protect it from who? Who is this mysterious boogeyman that's been hunting down Wikipedia for the last God knows how long? I swear to you, this is like the biggest scam. I don't know who is buying into that. Because I was going to buy into it when I was in high school. Had I known that it would go on for this long, I didn't donate when I was in high school. Don't get me wrong. I don't care about Wikipedia that much. I was a high school student and a freshman at that. I didn't have a job. But if I had $2.75, I would have given it to him because I felt bad. Come to find out, who is the boogeyman? Do I have to go into a rabbit hole to find out who is bullying Wikipedia for so long? Like, what are they fighting against? Are they fighting against the man? Are they trying to get their servers? Like, I don't understand what's going on, Dad. I don't think tonight's the night we're gonna go on the Wikipedia rabbit hole. Though it does intrigue me. I'm very intrigued by why I've been seeing this same message every time I visit Wikipedia since I started high school. What's going on? Okay. Now I gotta get back to my reading. I interrupted my reading. Now we're gonna learn about vorticity, and this is vorticity. Vorticity. Oh, I hurt my foot. I gave it too much blood. I have feeling back in my foot now. I think a little bit of feeling. Hey, look at that. My foot is no longer numb like it used to be. You know, my foot's been numb for like almost a year. Like my big toe, the right side of my big toe, like this little curve right here on the side, it feels like it's numb. I cannot feel anything but my finger touching it. Like I can't feel my finger touching my foot from my foot's perspective. Like I don't feel the nerves there like you would if you were touching your skin, but I'd only feel what it feels like to touch it with my finger, which if you don't know, feels really weird. It's almost like touching someone else's skin, but on yours. And since you know you're supposed to feel it, it feels even weirder. Let me try and explain this, because it's a little weird. Okay, so the top layer of my skin on my big toe, my left big toe particularly, because there's a giant injury there. I don't know where it came from. I stubbed my toe really bad once. I don't know. Could have been that. There's a spot on the edge of my foot. It's this curve right here, just right before it hits the big knuckle, and then it goes down to being my foot. It's that. The top of my foot is numb. Okay, the whole top right side, can't feel it. Top of the skin. But down a little bit further, the skin is fine. So like a couple layers under, right when like the skin is no longer skin, I can feel that. But I can't feel the top of it. So every time I put my finger there, I'm feeling my finger reaching all the way down to the not so layer of skin. Right, that part. I don't know if it's a muscle. I guess it's muscle. Point is, I can feel my finger poking the muscle. The nerves in the muscle are fine, but then the nerves in my finger are fine too. So I can feel my finger touching the muscle, and I can feel my finger touching the muscle, if that makes sense. I feel both of the feelings. However, I do not feel the top of the skin touching the muscle. It's weird. So there's like, to describe it the best way, I can feel the muscle and I can feel the finger. The skin in between that I don't feel. So it's like pushing. It's like dead skin, right? It's like this much dead skin between my muscle and my finger. That much skin I just cannot feel. So it's like a dead zone where I can feel the in between, and I know I should be able to feel the top, but I don't. And I never feel like, the thing is too, I don't ever feel that it's numb. It doesn't feel like bad when someone else touches my foot. Like if somebody else touches the top of my foot and I'm not looking at it, then it's almost like they're just touching the muscle. It's weird. Like it's not nearly as bad as when I'm touching it myself. It really throws me a loop. It's like tickling yourself, but grinding up the dead bodies. Sorry guys, a lot of dead bodies. We're always doing something around here. Always. So, back to the idea. A key concept in the dynamics of vortices is the vorticity, a vector that describes the local rotary motion at a point of the fluid as would be perceived by an observer that moves along with it. Right. Conceptually, the vorticity could be observed by placing a tiny rough ball at the point in question, because the ball will free to move with the fluid, and observing how it rotates about its center. The direction of the vorticity vector is defined to be the direction of the axis of rotation of this imaginary ball. According to the right-hand rule, while its length is twice the ball's angular velocity. Mathematically, the vorticity is defined as the curl or rotation of the velocity field of the fluid, usually denoted by W with an arrow on top, expressed by the vector analysis formula upside down triangle times U with an arrow on the top, where upside down triangle, I think that's delta, is the nabla operator, and the U with the arrow on top is the local flow velocity. The local rotation measured by the vorticity W with an arrow on top must not be confused with the angular velocity vector of the portion of the fluid with respect to the external environment or to any fixed axis. In a vortex, in particular, W with an arrow on top may be opposite to the mean angular velocity vector of the fluid relative to the vortex's axis. I read all of that and understood nothing. I don't know what that said. You lost me. And I think that's exactly all I need to research. I think I started simple, and now I'm getting more and more complicated, and I can stop. I can pull out at any time, and I'm choosing to pull out now. We're done. Stops are out. I'm pulling out. I think we've done our research. So now we can build a script. And you best believe I'm including that whole blurb. I'm going to paraphrase that. Well, not paraphrase. No, I'm going to read that blurb verbatim in the video, just so you get an understanding of like what it is. Just in case when you watch this mid-roll you've forgotten about the stream, I want you to know what that says. I want you to, I'm going to read that out to you and remind you that if you stumble too far into looking into vortexes, you will hit pay dirt if you're a mathematician, I guess. That's great. But I don't know math, so I don't know that, and I don't like that equation. This whole thing is weird. Once we start including the Greek words, once we start including Greek letters, I gotta tap out. That's it for me, champ. I'm out of here. I might have made a terrible mistake in choosing vortexes, but I think it's okay. I laugh because look at that looks cool. Okay, so a plug hole is a drain, right? We're gonna go ahead and like assert that a plug hole is a drain. I'm not crazy, that's right. Like if I say a plug hole is considered a drain, we can all collectively agree that doesn't sound improbable. So we can assume that is a drain, like drain vortex, right? Okay, cool. I just didn't know. It is editing, Kermit. God. Had you been here, you would know, okay? Okay, let me explain again. Since we're here, let me explain what we're doing. So right now, We are prepping ourselves for the filming of a mid-roll ad that I'm going to do on stream at some point in the near future. I just wanted to have a point of reference, so when you see these videos in the middle of stream, you can know how they were made whenever you see one. It is editing. I just don't know if I'll be editing tonight because we're an hour in, almost an hour and a half into this 2-hour stream, and I'm still researching vortexes. I did not realize the researching would take so long. I had initially planned this to be research, then we film, and then a little bit of editing. But then I realized I'm probably going to research, script it a little bit, then we're going to film, and then we're going to edit, which is going to take the longest. So this researching was supposed to be this. Researching is now taking this, and I'm supposed to fit scripting and filming in this as well. It's complicated, Kermit, okay? There's a lot of work involved. I just wanted everyone to be aware. This is the process in which I get to work. And the reason why my previous mid-rolls aren't good, or as good as they could be, is simply because I do all this in the 3 hours before I started streaming. Like each one of those videos I did at least like in the same day that I was planning to do the stream. So they did not have nearly the amount of time they were supposed to have for a video of this caliber. Like I am so Anyway, point is, so I'm going to include how annoyingly difficult vortexes are, and I'm just like, I'm going to put in a screen cap of me just scrolling down the page of Vortex, because my God, I did not realize it would be so complicated. I didn't realize there'd be a million different parts of a vortex. I mean, come on now. But I do need this part right here. This part I actually, I should need to read. Because this is about the pressure within a vortex. And this is actually prevalent to what I'm going to film. Because if I'm filming about, how a vortex is created, I need to know if it's pressure being built up, which is the case in a plug hole stream. Bam! I told you I'm a scientist. I told you I knew the questions to the answer. Anyway. The fluid motion in a vortex creates a dynamic pressure. In addition to any hydrostatic pressure, that is lowest in the core region closest to the axis, middle part, and increases as one moves away from it in accordance with Bernoulli's principle. And what is Bernoulli's principle? In fluid dynamics, Bernoulli's principle states that an increase in the speed of fluid occurs simultaneously with a decrease in static pressure or decrease in the fluid's potential energy. The principle is named after Daniel Bernoulli, in his book Hydrodynamica in 1738. One can say that it is the gradient of this pressure that forces the fluid to follow a curved path around the axis. In a rigid body vortex, flow of fluid, Jesus Christ, there's so many F sounds, and one of them wasn't even an F sound, I just made it into one. Flow of a fluid with constant density. I feel like now I'm starting to, every time now I'm calling out myself when I say fluid or flow, because now all I hear is like I feel like, what's his name? The Porky one, not Porky Pig, but the pudgy hunter. Wabbit season. Speaking saying this many F's makes me feel like it's wabbit hunting season right now. Okay. In a rigid body vortex, flow of fluid with a constant density, the dynamic pressure is proportional, to the square distance r from the axis. In a constant gravity field, the free surface of the liquid, if present, is concave paraboloid. In an irrotational vortex flow with a constant fluid density and cylindrical symmetry, the dynamic pressure varies as P infinity sign minus K over R squared, where P infinity sign is the limiting pressure, infinitely far from the axis. This formula provides another constraint for the extent of the core, since the pressure cannot be negative. The free surface, if present, dips sharply near the axis line, with depth inversely proportional to r squared. The shape formed by the free surface is called a hyperboloid, or Gabriel's horn. What is Gabriel's horn? Let me see. Okay, that's Gabriel's horn. Right. Okay, and that's the guy that made it. And that's what it is. The core of a vortex is, I swear to God, if I'm not at least like 30 IQ higher after I read all this, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. The core of a vortex in air is sometimes visible because water vapor condenses as the low pressure of the core causes adiabatic cooling? I don't know what we're on anymore. The funnel of a tornado is an example. Okay. Let me read that again because that wasn't a complicated sentence. I think I just need to reread that one. The core of a vortex in air is sometimes visible because water vapor condenses as the low pressure of the core causes adiabatic cooling. We're going to read what that is. And thermodynamics, we've hit thermodynamics. Once we hit thermodynamics, I might... God, I didn't think I would... This is college. I don't need to be in college. I don't want this. In thermodynamics, an adiabatic... I don't know how to read. Process is a type of thermodynamic... I don't want to be in the way, but Jesus Lord. Process that occurs without transferring heat or mass between the thermodynamic system and its environment. Unlike an isothermal process, an adiabatic process transfers energy to the surroundings only as work. What? All right. Well, it's thermodynamics. So if we understand thermodynamics, get at me, please. The funnel in a tornado is example. Okay. So hot, cold. Got it. When a vortex line ends at a boundary surface, the reduced pressure may also draw matter from that surface into the core. For example, a dust devil is a column of dust picked up by the core of an air vortex attached to the ground. A vortex that ends at the free surface of a body of water, like the whirlpool that often forms over a bathtub drain, may draw a column of air down the core. The forward vortex extending from a jet engine of a parked airplane can suck water and small stones into the core and then into the engine. Okay. Okay. I got it. I finally figured out what the vortex line is. Keep in mind, the whole time, this was for me to figure out what the vortex line is. There was nothing else I was supposed to find out from this Wikipedia page. I expressly looked up, what is the vortex line made of? Okay? And I've stumbled on to the final answer. Okay, in a drain, the vortex line is air. Oh my God. I was right the whole time. I was literally right the whole time. Okay, I'm good though. I'm good. I just spent like the last 20 minutes on that, by the way. I'm good though. I'm good. Hold on. Actually, I'm not good. I'm not good. I just want to take a picture of this moment. I just want to commemorate the fact that I really just did that. So, I'm just gonna take a little snapshot of myself there. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That right there? That's him. That's the idiot who just spent 20 minutes looking up something he already knew the answer to. Smile and wave, because you're looking at pure stupidity. All right. It's good. Yeah. All right, boys. Let's get to work. You know, we could have spent the last 20 minutes scripting, but it's all good. We found out what vortex line is. Vortex line, air. Ooh, got him. Whoop. Yeah. That's exciting, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exciting. This is why we do it. Yeah, we're having a great time. Yeah, nobody is gonna kill me because I'm gonna kill myself. I'm pulling up the notepad so I can write this stupid script. I'm halfway tempted to just start filming without I'm really just gonna. Oh, I am heated right now. I don't think you understand how heated I am. I am terribly heated. This is a hot issue for me, and I am very mad. So I'm gonna close this a little bit. There's pain going on right now. I just want you to know that there is actual pain. Cool. Now we have our script. All right, I'm just gonna drag that out a little bit. Okay, so now this is our script page. We're gonna write nice and big, so that way my blind eyes can see. So our font shall be a little bit bigger. We're gonna do 24, 30, 72. That's a little big. I'm not gonna lie to you. We're gonna drive that back down. Probably gonna cool 26. Seems pretty fairly good. Yeah, you know, I probably could drop it down a little bit more. Okay, probably a little bit more. Can you see that? That's that's not bright at all. Yeah, I should probably, Dayton? Nah, we could do Corey or New, but we gotta do bold. Okay. Dad. Dad left me to be a tenured professor. That's how you spell it. At 29. He made vortexes. Hold on, I got it. He made vortex. Hold on, vortex in bottle experiment. Okay, is that good? We read that? Can we read that? Can we read that? Is it readable? Can you read it? Oh, I don't know if you can read it. I don't know if you can read it. There we go. Can you read that? There it is. See, now that is a good shot. That right there. Well, that's a solid shot. And you know what's behind? You know what's behind this one? Oh, well, you can't see it yet, but if I were to show you, look at this. See, behind me is me, and behind me is Chunget's house. I never really left her driveway. I'm still in her driveway. So, you know, go figure. I can cut myself there. I am going to increase this. There we go. See this right here? That's solid. That's solid. We can work with that. Okay. Now that we've got that, we're gonna talk about it. Okay. Yes, my dad left me to be a tenured professor at whatever place he was at when he was at there. I am not entirely sure what place it was. Now, let's think. Kermit, I need your help on this. What did we learn about vortexes? What do you remember learning about vortexes, Kermit? Cue title card. Vortices. Water, or I should do this. Vortices. And then we're going to do more trouble than worth. Yep. Because I was initially, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it was going to be named initially. Initially, the stream was going to be, or not the stream, yeah, no, I guess this mid-roll was going to be called something else. Initially, I had planned the name for this to be, Why Does Water Do That Little Vortex Thing? And then I was going to make the title, this title card part, I was going to call that, quote-unquote, all water equal hurricane, question mark, with a tidal wave emoji and a hurricane emoji. That's what I was planning on doing, or a tornado emoji, right? So, I'm not doing that anymore. That was the general question. So, all right. Now he makes I gotta make this. Oopsie. That was almost a bad. I almost did a real bad doing that. Kermit, you don't seem to be telling me what we learned Vortexes is about. Now what did I say? Oh, yeah. Now he makes bottle experiments. I don't know if I'm going to keep it, but hey, it's not telling me if I'm spelling things wrong, so we're just going to spell everything wrong. Bottle experiments. Then it's going to be... Also, why does water do that vortex thing? Yeah. There we go. Kermit, thank you for your continued support on teaching me about vortexes. That's a very good answer. So now we have the title card. We've discovered what the title card will look like, and I'm not going to make it yet. You don't get to see it just yet, Silly Billy, but I do have plans for the title cards. As a matter of fact, I have a whole series planned for the title cards, but you don't get to see it yet, little Silly Billy. Willy. That's not good. Hey, how you doing? Me? I'm just stumbling because you caught me looking dead in them deep blue eyes, baby. I'm just stumbling because you look so damn pretty. Yeah. Anyway, point is, we have our title card and we have the first sentence, which also might not be the first sentence. We might cut that whole part out, but it would be something like this. My dad left me to be a tenured professor at 29, and now he makes bottle experiments. Also, what does water do that vortex thing? And then it would go, and then it would be title card. And then it would be, and then it's me. Hi. And I'd go like this. How you doing? Hey, it's me. What you up to? How you doing? Vortexes. How? Why? Huh? How? Why? And then we're gonna go. Hey. It's me. It's me. Guy. And today, I asked the question. What make a vortices? What make vortex do thing? And to be honest with you, hey, I gotta like kind of talk the script out and then write it to see how I can maximize on how bad this whole thing made me feel. I want to kind of spoil the fact that it is a unnecessary, complicated nightmare to explore the fit. I really should have caught on to that. To be honest with you, when I read the first article and it said that its key learning points were physics, I should have immediately went, okay, I think it's time for me to bow out because physics is complicated. So I really should have seen that one coming. I didn't, and we have foresight on the channel. Sometimes we aren't very smart. Sometimes we fall into a very complicated rabbit hole about topics that we probably need to know. But hey, it's not always about that. Okay. Bye. Yeah, I was just falling for you. Anyway, I kind of need to read this out, kind of like prevising, but like for animation, this is for scripting. So I'm going to read this out. I'm going to go, I'm at this point, I'm not going to be using that mic because I'm too far away and the amount of audio, the echo is going to be too much. So I am going to use we're going to pretend like this is my mic. See, I still have a very low quality lav mic setup. So that being said, this is really good for me because this allows me to talk about this with, hey, I can still keep some of the low quality while I'm sitting here rolling the high quality. So here's how it's going to go. Hey, it's me, Guy. Doesn't that sound suspicious like Drew Gooden? We'll keep it. It's different enough that it's not stealing, right? Hey, it's me, Guy. And today I asked the question to myself, what make Vortex do thing? And to be honest with you, the answer is not going to, to be honest with you, to be honest with you, the answer I got will eternally pale in comparison. Pale in comparison. That's not how you spell comparison. Oops. I'm glad you can't see it, because I really flubbed that one up. Will eternally pale in comparison to the pain I suffered. Pain and fear. Pain and suffering I suffered. Just researching the topic. There. Okay, so we're gonna run back to the script again. We're gonna read that one more time, kind of get a general feel for it. So it goes simple. Where am I? Ooh. Hey, it me, guy, and today I asked the question, what make Vortex do thing? And just to be honest with you, the answer I got will eternally, and I mean eternally, pale in comparison to the pain and suffering I went through just researching the topic itself. No, I gotta do pain and suffering I suffered. And to be entirely honest with you, the answer I got will never, ever exceed the pain and suffering I suffered to actually just research the topic alone. See, I thought it'd be a simple discussion. I thought we would, look up a topic, read like 1 or 2 articles, just kind of explaining the bare minimum of vortexes, and then after I actually, like read the first article, I read another article, because I was like, this one is cool, but this one is only about a bottle experiment, okay? This one was just detailing how you could make your own vortex in a bottle, which I've actually done right now. And then I would put in the part where I put in the vortex bottle part. And then we cut back, and I'm back to where we were here. It's not going to be a long clip, probably just a couple seconds. I don't think it would take that long to make it in the first place, but it'd be like 45, 50 seconds max. It's not going to be a long clip. Then we come back here, and then I'm back again with the... Alright, so we're coming... See, that's the problem with not writing this down and streaming it, because I was going to use this. I was going to take the VOD later and then just screen record this whole part so I could kind of paraphrase off of that, just in case I don't get the writing part done, which might not happen. But anyway, I digress. So we come back and we go, we first found out about the bottle thing, right? Really cool experiment. Very happy I did that. And then after the bottle experiment, I thought, well, let me dig a little deeper. Okay, maybe there's a bit more specific to how it's made, because this is kind of not really like and not really as detailed as I thought it would be, right? See, at the time, before I really stumbled into the research zone, at the time I thought the answer it gave me was not nearly as detailed as it was going to be to understand vortexes in their purest form. Well, I was very wrong, but I digress. So I continue on the rabbit hole, and I'm really searching. Okay, I'm looking at the camera like it's actually filming, and I was really I hit the second article and I thought, yeah, I'm hitting pay dirt. Came with a video attached. Okay, I watched the video, and then I zoned out during the important learning part of the video, so I ended up having to replay the video about 3 or 4 times, and then I kind of got the point, half got it, and then I figured out, okay, after 10 minutes of pondering something I really shouldn't have been pondering, as it was a lot simpler than I thought, I finally asked the question that led me to Wikipedia. That question actually is going to come into our play here. It's going to be the most important question we're going to ask all night, and that question is, what is a vortex line? Now, I know this might be a little weird. I kind of just dumped on you what a vortex line, what is that? Why am I just hitting it? Well, it's simple. A vortex line is the thing in the middle that creates a vortex in the first place. We want to know what makes a vortex spin or go or do whatever. That's the whole point of that's the whole point of the question. What makes it do the thing? I spent 2 hours figuring out what made it I spent 2 hours trying to figure this out. You know what the answer is? It's air. I spent way too long 20 minutes actually, reading a Wikipedia article about what it was, right? I read a Wikipedia article and it told me what it was, and lo and behold, the answer is air. So let me break it down for you. Since I've already spoiled the fun, let me break it down for you and what a vortex is, okay? A vortex is all the science. This is the part where I would put in the science explanation, maybe a voiceover, because my God, I'd have to read this again. Okay, there was a lot of things that I said, and primarily I'm going to go back to the VOD, and I'm going to rewatch that with all that. So I'm actually going to rewatch the VOD after I finish streaming, so I can like actually write that part of the script down, because I get the feeling that I will forget. Anyway, that was just the video that we do the thing on. Yeah, we pretend like that doesn't exist. Okay. Cool. Forget a little bit more. Very cool, right? Okay. Now is the part where we explain the science. We talk about how the vortexes and all that works, which most likely will be the second thing I do after I kind of ad-lib most of the script. See what I mean? When I say, like, I usually don't script it out, I usually go improv. Now, while that is kind of good, as you can see, I went on that whole tirade. I basically made just, like, a solid third of the script without writing more than 2 seconds of the script. You see what I'm saying? So there are parts, like, it is easy. If I don't catch myself, though, I like doing the improv and the scripting in the moment. That's why I need a stenographer. I didn't think I would say that name correctly. That's why I need a stenographer, because I need somebody to write down everything I say, because I'm not going to remember it. They will. Nobody will. Or I was going to use, like, the old lawyer approach where they would record their daily journal onto a thing, and I would do that for scripts and things and ideas, so that way I could just listen to myself, go back and write it down if needed, which is way better, and I'm so behind on the times. This is basically that, but like cooler, and it's a whole thing. So I will now have explained the science of it, vortex, and while explaining the science, I will lose my mind a little bit in that part, in the voiceover part. I'm going to lose my mind just a smidge, explain all the stupid, complicated, God, this killed me, I really wanted to die, I spent 20 minutes looking this up, I didn't need to spend 20 minutes, I'm going to freak out, okay, get a general freak out in, and then we're going to come back here, I'm going to be standing back. Thank you so much for that science lesson, me from the future, from right now, from this moment. Thank you so much. That science lesson was very helpful, and now we know what makes a vortex spin in a circle or move or whatever we were looking up. I don't know what we were looking up, but whatever it is, we found it. Point is, I spent 2 hours to find out that the answer to my question that I've had for years, ever since being a toddler, in fact, was very simple. It was air and pressure. I mean, I'm obviously not going to say the science part of it isn't cool, but I will say, fuck the math part. I didn't ask for that. I didn't want that, I didn't ask for that, and I'd never like to see that again. But all in all, I think we found out something very interesting today, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the stream, because I assume we have something good for you. And then boom, now the video is done. So now we just have to actually go back after the stream is over and watch it again. So we could theoretically go to the filming part, but I don't think that's a good idea. I will explain to you some of this extra part. Okay, to be fair, yeah, we have about 15 minutes. I can't do any filming in 15 minutes. I can write a little bit of the script, but I've already loosed the memories out of my mind. We can kind of look back over the science of it, and I think that's the best thing we can do. But yes, pain and suffering I suffered just researching the topic. That's what I mean when I say, like, I didn't script my videos, because, yeah, I could probably do that and it would be a lot better, but sometimes my brain just works on the fly and it kind of does its thing. It may not be funny, but at least it explains it in a coherent way. So I think I talk nice enough for that. I think it works. But that would be essentially the script right there. We would probably, obviously I'm going to add some more. Trust me, that's not going to be just it. I might add a couple things. Honestly, I might take what I said at the very end, move that to the front, like the very beginning, and we can take out this part. So here's the dilemma that we currently face in the script. Because when I was saying it just now, one of the things I did mention was the bottle experiment thing, which now takes this part up here and makes it more relevant in the actual script. So yes, while at the very beginning it's going to seem like a random one-off thing, by the end of the video you'll have understood like what the point of that particular sentence was, because we're going to talk about the tenured professor, the bottle experiment, all that in that part of like the science clip. So we already mentioned the bottle experiment at the end, so we might as well keep it because we've already set it into the story of the script itself. We've already placed it into the script like Chekhov's gun. So we could either leave this in here and not alter the beginning, or we could take what I said at the end and put it at the beginning about here-ish. Actually, I think we could do that. I think I figured out how we can do it. Ever since I was a little lad, you know, real tiny type. I've always was always. Oh, hold on. Oh, there we go. I was always. Hold on. We just gotta over here. I think we're gonna take this and split it down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. I was always fascinated. That's not the right word at all. Farted. Hey yo, funny. Fascinated by vortexes, by little drain vortexes. You know, little drain vortexes. Vortices. I was always fascinated by little drain vortices, you know, like the you know when you unplug you unplug the little when you unplug the drain stopper. See, we could shut up. Fascinated. That's actually not a bad word. Hold on, that might be a real word, Kermit. We might be onto something. Fascinated. The fascination with farts and other backdoor associated. No. So anyway, fascinated is what I was. I was dang on them little water vortexes. Ever since I was a little lad, you know, real tiny type, I was... See, that's what I mean when I say I want to add in things like and ums, so it makes the script feel like it's a lot more improv-y than it actually is, even though it's really just one take, me, I write everything I said, I write, and then I just kind of spit. Like, even this, I probably won't follow. When I actually say all this stuff for the camera, it's probably going to sound a little bit like that, but what we got on stream is going to be different from what we get in the actual filmed product, because I never really do things by how it's supposed to. I don't know why. That's really bad acting, and as an actor, I should be ashamed of myself, because it should not be that I'm always improving, even when I have a set zone script in front of me. I digress. So ever since I was a little lad, you know, like a real tiny type, I was always fascinated by those little drain vortices, you know, like when you unplug the drain stopper in your bathtub after you get off a good little wishy-wash. Like, you know, like when you unplug the drain stopper after a little bathy, after a good little bath, good little. I don't know why I'm obsessed with saying little. If you haven't noticed that, I keep saying little a lot. You know, good old bath time, and you know when you unplug the drain stopper after a good old bath time. You know, the little thing, the mini tornado that forms in the thing. The drain. Hold on, let me see if that makes sense, because I actually have no clue if that makes any sense at all. Okay. This is the wrong thing. Here we go, there's Twitch. Alright. So, it goes a little something like this. You know, ever since we do a fade in on this. It's gonna be a fade from black into this. So we're gonna do a little like fade in. You know, ever since I was a little lad, real tiny type, I was always fascinated by those little drain vortices. You know, like when you unplug the drain stopper after a good old bath time. You know, the mini tornado that forms in the drain during that, when all the water comes rushing down. that forms. Oh, hold on. Yeah. Let me try the drums and the fan. I always loved that thing. Always loved watching them. You know, my dad put that in me. You know, my dad always talked about them. You know, good guy. Real smart type. You know. Anyway, so my dad left me. You think I should keep the dad left me part in there? If you don't understand it, by the way, because I feel like I'm probably talking about it and most people probably don't understand it. For those of you who weren't here for the beginning of the stream, when I first read the what do you call it? I can't even remember the name. The bottle experiment article. When I first read that, I realized that my dad wrote that article. Yeah, an old scientist. Worked he's a professor now. He became a professor at the age of 29. He's been working since 1980, or he's been alive. I don't know. He was born in the 80s, and he's working as a professor, a tenured professor. He was at the age of 29. Anyway, point is, look, if you didn't see it live, you can go back and watch the VOD. Okay, it was a real funny moment. I called him my dad. It plays. All right. Point is, if you didn't watch the VOD, that doesn't make sense. So I'm putting a clip of the VOD into this video so you can understand it and it makes more sense. Probably won't. I don't know. Okay, don't fucking get on me. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of putting things together. Okay, fuck. I'll figure it out when I edit. Jesus. So this is essentially what I'm looking at here. Is ever since I was a little lad, you know, real tiny type. Because I mean, like I said, the joke really doesn't work if you didn't watch the VOD, because you're just like, why is he calling him his dad? I'm sure I can find a way to make it work. I'm funny. Ever since I was a little lad, you know, real tiny type, I was always fascinated by little drain vortices. You know, when you unplug a drain stopper after a good old-fashioned bath time. You know, the mini tornado that forms in the drain itself. I always loved watching them, and my dad, he always talked about them too. He's a real good guy. You know, my dad is a great guy. You know, he was a scientist. Smart guy. You know, he was a fucking phenomenal dude. Loved me and my mom. Anyway, my dad left me and to be a tenured professor at hold on. I have to okay. So maybe it does work. So maybe it's not such a bad bit. Okay. Maybe it is a little funny if you kind of flesh it out. Maybe it's like, okay, like I can chuckle a little bit. Okay, it was a little bit, got me to smile. That's sad. My own joke made me smile. Point is, my dad always talked to them. We're not gonna put about in there. We know we need to say about. And my dad always talked about them. He loved them to pieces. He would always stare at them with me. He would clasp me on the shoulder, look over my eye, look over my back, and just stare into the drains with me with this glee in his eyes. My dad. He's a real good guy. My dad. He was like really smart, and he loved my mom, and he loved me. He got me gifts all the time, and he never said anything mean to me. And so anyway, my dad left me to be a tenured professor at 29, and now he makes bottle experiments. So, also, why does the Vortexes do that little water thing? Right? Is that funny? Can you validate it? Make sure it was funny. Kermit, can you validate my joke, please? Can you validate my script, and can you say it was funny, please? Thank you. I hope that was. I really hope that was a good bit. I have no clue. Let's just say it was good. So yeah, that would be our introduction. That's a way that we can keep the dad part in there and have it make sense within the context of the video, and have it also make sense within the context of the VOD. I just don't know if I'm going overboard with the dad thing. I don't know. But if I am, I can always tone it down. I can always tone it down or tone it up as needed. I got the money for it. I can throw toner in my printer and print that bad boy up about 200 more times. You know what I'm saying? All right. So we've almost hit 2 hours. I know we started at 5:45, but I was active for most of that, just like yesterday. It's almost like we're building a pattern. What? Anyway, so we're not gonna film it just yet, and by we I mean me, because at this point now our partnership is ending, and it's just gonna be me working by myself from here on out, where I'm going to do all the filming and all that stuff probably tomorrow before work. I'm gonna do a little bit of light filming, okay, just a smidge. I'm gonna do a little bit of light filming. I'm gonna take this VOD. I'm gonna save all the parts of the script. I'm gonna work through the script a little bit. I'm gonna listen to what I got. I'm gonna read these parts. I'm gonna fix the script as needed. Film some footage, and then, well, from there I just gotta edit it, and then we're done. The editing, I want to do some special stuff where I have a few ideas for how this is gonna play out. Like when I come in after the title card, I'm gonna do that. You know that little, what's it called? The TikTok thing, the little TikTok, tip top. Jesus Christ, what am I, Eminem? Like a little TikTok thing where they do this. Like they do the wave thing, like the editing is like this. Here, look. I don't know if you truly understand it. So let me make it a little bit easier for you to understand. So where they do like this. And it's like Venetian blinds, and it's like really cool because like they look like it's an optical illusion. God, that made my head hurt. That's what I'm gonna do. But first, oh my God, I didn't know that would make me so dizzy. What am I, anemic? Okay, so first, I would come onto the thing and do the I've always been fascinated by your mother. That's why I piped her. And your mom hates you, right? Your mama hates you. As a matter of fact, your daddy does too. Not only does your mama hate you, but she wishes that you had been swallowed. That's right. Even your mama wishes you had been swallowed. How's that feel, huh? She didn't even want you, little kid. Huh? You think you're funny? You think you're cute because, you got a little fun face? I'd punch you. I'd punch a baby. Right in the stroller. Give him a good sock, good squeeze on the head. I'd punch the shit out of a baby. I don't like them. Can't stand them little germ nests, little germ-renders. So, anyway, your mama hates you. I just thought I'd share that with you. I know that because I'm constantly between those cheeks. You know what they say: if you can make her laugh and giggle, you can make them cheeks clap and jiggle. So, hate to say it, but your mama, she likes my 2 inches of man meat. Hey, that's just me, though. You don't gotta trust me on that one. You don't know me. You don't gotta trust me. I'm just saying that I was in it. I was in it like I can't get out. Just want to throw that in there for you. So anyway, I think this is a pretty good place to stop it. If this doesn't give you a good inclination of how I work and how I operate before I make a video or a stream or whatever, this is essentially the whole process. Kermit, Greft, they can tell you the same thing. That if I'm doing any sort of editing work or music or anything in front of them, it's 90% fucking around, and then maybe 5% actually working, and then the last 5% is me going to use the bathroom or making bad jokes. It's like a mix between the two. You get one or they get the other. So that is mostly how it works for me. Yeah, and yes, I'm aware that bad jokes do not go into the fucking around category. So just putting that out there. That's it though. That's the stream. So what are you still doing here? Go home. It's over. I'm done. Okay. Goodbye. Just kidding. I wouldn't end it like that. I love you. I'm playing. I'm messing with you. You guys have a good night, okay? Go tell your mama you love her, because if you don't, you never know what's gonna happen. So, I'll see you guys on the flip. Look out for that mid roll. I'll probably tell you when it's gonna happen on stream because I'm just that obsessed with letting you know. I don't know. That's you'll know when I tell you, okay? It'll be ready soon. I wouldn't give it more than a month, I work fast. I wouldn't give it more than a year. you might see it. I mean, boy, if I'm really going my full speed in Gonzalez mode, you're probably gonna see that by November of 2022. That's how fast I'm working on it. You're probably gonna see it next year. Dude, honestly, I'm gonna be working so fast, I might actually go and burn myself out. Like I might go into overdrive and like just burn out. It might be that fast. So honestly, I might have to pump the brakes a little bit. I can't go that fast. A year is a bit too fast, to be honest. I don't think I can meet those expectations. So in reality, I'd say you're probably going to see that in 2023, probably about May 2023 is when you're going to find that clip in full rotation, baby. So I hope you enjoy that. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Please be safe, okay? It's dangerous out here in the streets, all right? There are people all over the place who are not as cool as me. So you guys have a good night, all right? And I'll catch you next time. What in the shit? What the fuck? Oh shit. Wait. Hold on, wait still. What the fuck?
Hey, you're killing me.
What are you still doing here? The stream's over. Go home. It's done. Clean it up. Stream's done. What are you still doing here? Watching me? It's just the ending screen. What are you doing? Get out of here. Just get out. I'm not gonna tell you again. Go home.